Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and I'm going to start a new project today, and I may have to break it down into sections. This is what I was telling you I wanted to do, another series. But I have been wanting to make another wall hanging, and one that I've been wanting to do really bad is the 4 seasons. So I sat down this morning and I started sketching. And I hope this, let me put something with some color in it here, just so the camera doesn't go wonky. I'll just set it in the middle. When there's just white for the camera to focus on, it does this pulsing thing. So this at least will give it some color to focus on. But I sat here and I was thinking about doing a sketch of what I wanted to do. So I'm doing this, I'm making 4 sections. You can see here I made 4 sections. And on this paper they are 2 inches by 4 inches. Now, you can see I started sketching and I'm already making some changes. This is not going to be a template for the clay. This is just going to be what I would like to see happen on here. But I've divided it into 4 sections. I labeled this one summer, fall, winter, and spring. Now, one thing that you do notice with the differences in the seasons is the change in the background, the sky color. Like winter is like a gray. Spring is going to be a bright blue. Fall, I'm going to, make summer is going to just be a blue, because with the heat sometimes the sky changes a little bit. And then fall, I'll probably make it a dark blue. Not that the sky changes, it's usually blue all the time, but in order to have the gray, and this, I might do a gradient for this blue, just to make it kind of flow. But anyway, what I thought I would do is do like a tree branch. Now there's different things you can do. You can do a separate picture for each season, or you can take, in this case, a tree branch, and I'm just going to make it a little wider here. I do have an eraser around here somewhere. I don't think this one on my pencil works very well. I think the eraser is over in my paper crafting room. But I'm making this a little wider here. And then you can always have branches that come off. You know, like this one can have a branch. And right now I'm just trying to design a little bit. This one I'll have a branch come off this way, and I might even bring it over into spring. And I may have one come off of here for summer that overlaps the fall. But right now I'm just designing. And this is just, like I said, it's just an idea of what I want to do. I'll have another branch come off of here. At the end of your trees, there's usually a lot of smaller branches. I think I'll bring a branch in here. Okay, so that's going to be my tree. Now, in the summer, I need another branch other than that. I wonder if I'll just come off with the, maybe I'll just come off here off of the big trunk. But for summer, I'm going to put green leaves. Actually, I'll do it this way. Green leaves. So these will be green leaves. The fall, I'm going to do, I probably ought to do the same shape. I was saying I've got the leaf cane that I did, the fall leaf cane, and I reduced it down to about a little over 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. See how it reduced? And I thought about slicing this for the fall leaves, so I'll probably make a green, so I need to make a green leaf in the same shape as this one. If you remember how we did this one, I'll probably not do that on camera because you can look at this one and instead of doing a blend of yellow to orange, you could just do a solid green and not even worry about a blend. So I'll make a green leaf cane in the same shape as that. So that will be for summer. For fall, I'm going to use this leaf cane. Whoops, wrong end. That leaf cane. For winter, there's not much on a tree in the winter. So this is going to be just kind of blank. And I may add a little bit of snow right along the top of these branches. And then in the spring, it's going to be flowers. And I meant to look to see if I have a flower cane already made that will work for that. And I neglected to do that. So I'm glancing over there now. There's not one in that section. But as many flower canes as I've made, let me just do it this way. It's just going to be flowers. And I'll put flowers. But I thought you'd like to see how I go about my planning process. I know a lot of people think all you need to do is just sit down and start working, but it takes time to plan, especially if you're going to do a project like this. Now I've got to decide what I'm going to do from my background. And I think I could probably do this all in one blend. If I go from blue to dark blue and then gray, because I can add a little bit of blue in with the gray, and then come over to the bright blue. I might do that, because the best thing to do is to separate these 4 pieces and have them as 4 separate pieces to either hang on the wall or you can mount them inside a frame, but to have a little bit of separation between each section. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I may just roll a big sheet of clay and center this on the clay and just use that as the background with the separation between these. It just depends on what direction I plan to go. But the first thing I need to do is to plan the background. So I'm going to do a blend. I'm going to use some blue. Let me look in my drawer here. I think I will use the cobalt blue would probably work for this, for summer. and go into a navy, which I know is a discontinued color. But you can take, if you want, just take this color and add a little bit of black to make it just a little bit darker. And I think that's what I'll do, since navy is a, I've got some navy, but I don't want to show you how to do something and it end up, you can't use what I used. So I can put that away now. And then I'll go with a gray, and we do have a gray. But our gray is a brown gray. When I say our, I'm talking about Sculpey clay. This to me is not a gray, it's a brown gray. So what I would probably do is just take some black and white and blend it to make a gray. So I'll put up here black and white. And then in the spring, I may even use a turquoise. So if I blend these three colors, it ought to give me a pretty good blend. So let me do my mixing for my gray, and then we'll do the Skinner blend for the background. Okay, I know this doesn't look very neat, but that's okay. I'm going to try to get this was, I measured it and it was like 6 inches, and my pasta machine is only 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to squish these sides in a little bit. Let me find something a little bit more firm than I'll just use this acrylic sheet just to kind of press it in a little on the sides. This is a double thickness, and this is turquoise, a mixture of black and white, and then this is cobalt blue. And I don't think you can see, but underneath this part of the cobalt blue, I added just a little bit of black. Not much, but just enough to make it a little bit darker blue. So let me see if I got that to where it'll fit in my pasta machine. Got just a little bit more to go. Actually, I think I'll trim off a little bit of this turquoise because this is only going to be for one panel and the other blue is going to be for 2 panels. So that solves my problem right there. So let me do this Skinner blend and then I'll be back. Okay, I have run my Skinner blend, and it could use a little more blending, but I think for what we're going to do with it, this is going to be fine. I don't mind there being a few little streaks, because if you look at your sky, it's not a solid color either. But you will notice I have a Skinner blend that's going this way, and I need it to go this way. So what do I do? Well, what I need to do is I need to roll the Skinner blend from one end, keeping the turquoise on one side and the cobalt blue on the other. And we need to roll it up. And take your time so that you don't introduce any air. I've been rushing a lot lately, and I've ended up with air in my projects. Little air is to be expected. It's just the nature of the beast. So I'm going to roll this up. And this is like a Skinner blend log. So then I'm going to take my rod and I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit. actually going to flatten it out a lot. I've got to flatten it out until it's thin enough to go through my pasta machine. I'm going to roll out this way a little bit, because remember, we want this to be about 4 inches tall. You see, we've got the blends going in the right direction now. I'm going to try to still widen it a little bit. And you'll see little pieces, like here, there's a piece of blue that got stuck in the gray. That's alright, because we're going to fold this one more time. And just try to make it rectangular. Press in on this end and pull that excess clay out to the corners to make it as rectangular as you can get it without ripping it like I did. Now I'm going to roll this through the pasta machine this way. Okay, since the Skinner blend did not work, I am going to, what I did is I cut out the lighter part of the blue and sheeted that. I cut out the middle part of the cobalt blue. This is turquoise. The middle part, or the lighter part of the cobalt blue, I did here. This is the cobalt blue that had just a little bit of black in it. And then I mixed another gray, only this time I added just a pinch of the turquoise to make it a little bit bluer. And you probably can't tell it here, but if you put it next to a gray, you'll see a slight tint of blue. Now, my problem is, or my question is, I had it done this way: summer, fall, winter, spring. So this is summer, so this would go down here. This would be summer, fall, winter, and spring. Now, do I leave it that way, or do I do it the way that I had it before? I move spring down here, and spring, summer, fall, winter. I think I like spring on the end because it's kind of like a new beginning. You start here and then it goes to a new beginning. So I think I'm going to leave it that way. But what I'm going to have to do now is to cut these into a common size so I'll know what I'm working with as far as the size of my tiles, or whatever you want to call them. So I think this is the skinniest, and it is a little more than 2 inches. So if I trim off those edges, and let me just trim a solid line here at the bottom. And I'm going to put all my mixtures in together, and that's going to make a pretty scrap blue. Alright, so now I can move these aside, out of my way, except my tile isn't here. Where did my tile? Oh, my tile is... I don't know where I put my tile. So I'll just move these over to the side. So I can have some room to work. I'll just do it this way. And I'm going to cut even along my inch line. First off, let me put this on, square it up. Where I cut it, I'm squaring it on my line here and then across here. So I can now cut this on the inch line. And I don't mean it's 1 inch, I mean that the heavy line here is an inch line. Okay, so when I say this one was a little over 2 inches, so I'll go up 2 inches, which is this line and then this line. So let me make a mark first, because this side, there, no, there. Alright, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try 6 inches. It might be too long, but I can always cut some off. Can't add any to it. So let's do them 2 by 6. So that one is 2 by 6. Let me just take this rough edge off. And don't worry about me cutting myself. This is a very dull blade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is right here. And then the 2 inch line is here. So now this one is cut to 2 by 6 inches. Just shave off a very little bit on the edges. One thing I didn't show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you're rolling your clay through the pasta machine, if you let one side of it rest against the edge of the pasta machine, it'll smooth out these crackles. And then if you keep flipping it, which I didn't do this time, but if you keep flipping it, then you'll smooth out the crackles on both sides. It's just a little extra added tip here. Alright, so this one is now 2 by 6. Get my straight side. And this one, the edges look okay, but I am still going to trim just a hair off the end. I had gray on my blade, but that's alright because I'm going to use the other side of this anyway. And I'll come up 2 inches. Well, let me do the 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is here. And then my 2 inches is here. Well, it's got gray on that side too. I must add a lot of gray on my blade. Let me just shave that off. once we get to messing with it with the tree trunk and everything, you're not going to see that anyway. So this was fall and winter and summer and spring. Now, we need to put this up together. They don't have to be touching or pressed together, but at least close, because you're going to run your tree trunk all the way across. So just kind of lay them. And you see they're getting stretched just from the little bit of movement that I'm doing with them. It's stretching them a little bit. So there is going to be my background. So I think I'm going to stop here. I've got some other thinking to do. I wanted you to see some of my thought process, because it's not just as simple as sitting down and making a video. I just wanted you to see that. It's fun, but it does take a lot of time. I probably spent as much time off camera doing the blending as I did on camera showing you what's going on. But let's get started with this and think of what blends you want, how you want to do your 4 seasons, and I'll be back again next week and we will start putting our tree on there. So hope you enjoyed this. Be back again soon. Bye-bye.